Right. Like, that's what I had to deal with every day of my life.
And Sam's talking about how obstinate Ed was, you know. So, Gary, what exactly did you experience? And Gary just paused and then went into one of his little stories.
I got the call that summer, you know, and there was those commercials with Dave, you know, Welcome Back Kotter thing going on, and I got the call from the manager. Says, "You want to go there and audition?" I go, after I chuckled, I go, yeah, okay, you know. And I literally walked in going, I'm going to spend the weekend with Van Halen. I'll sing a couple VH songs. I'll go back to Boston and tell my buddies I hung out with VH that weekend. And I ended up staying there for 3 years. But when I walked,
welcome to the hotel.
And Sam says, were they hard to get along with? You know, and Gary avoids the question and goes,
no, when I walked in there, I remember the first day, it was 12 o'clock. He came out of the studio, you know, shook my hand. You want to sing? I'm like, can I take a piss? And I said, Michael, I go, you got to help me. You got to help me with, believe it or not, I go, you got to help me with the Sammy songs.
How does that answer the question if they were difficult to work with? He obviously is completely avoiding the question.
Well, Gary was not a big talker on that whole episode. You could tell that Nuno is the leader of Extreme.
Oh, totally.
Because for the first part, when they were just walking and talking and BSing and all that, it was almost all Nuno.
Oh, it's all Nuno, yeah.
I mean, Gary did not get a word in edgewise.
No.
So you could tell that it is Nuno's band and Nuno is in charge. Which
totally
makes me think that when they had Gary come in and they auditioned him, they were like, you know what? Or Ed was like, this is the kind of guy I want in my band.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody who's going to try and take it over.
Right.
Like Sam did.
Right.
And like Dave did.
Right.
Because he wanted to be in charge. He wanted to be the alpha. And Gary would not get in the way.
Right.
And I think you could see that
Yep.
type of attitude and approach on this episode.
Absolutely.
When you watch it.
That's exactly what it read. You know, it's just amazing. It's just so obvious that he'll never really say what happened and what he experienced there, because God knows, for Christ's sake, he lived in Ed's house over there, his like guest house, for like years. I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's just incredible to me that that's all that comes out of that. But
well, you got to remember that I think Gary is like Mike. He's a good soldier.
Yeah.
He's not going to spill the beans. He's not going to say anything bad.
Right.
He's never been like that. Like every time he's asked, why did you leave? He's always been like, well, we didn't see eye to eye. It was musical. Ed was having some issues. But he doesn't go like into a deep dive or throw anybody under the bus, really. Yeah. Whereas Sam, you know, you read his book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what size were the tires of that bus? Because you just ran over me with it 5 times.
I know. Well,
I mean, so those are the two different mentalities of those guys.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's very interesting, though. It really is very interesting because if you think about it, if Dave was leading Van Halen, well, Dave's not around. Well, if Sam's leading Van Halen, Sam's not around. And if Ed Loeffler's not around, and if Ted Templeman's not around, and if Don Landy's not around, then what are you left with? Van Halen 3. That's how Van Halen 3 became Van Halen 3. Nothing against Gary. Gary sings his ass off. He's fantastic. And he's a good frontman. However, he's not the guy who's going to take the ball and lead. Sammy's an alpha. Dave's an alpha. You know, Ed Loeffler, total hardcore manager out there, really putting his band first, getting the absolute most he could for that band. Ted Templeman.
You're leaving out an alpha manager, you know.
Well, Noel wasn't in the Sammy picture.
No, I know that.
No. Oh,
but I feel obligated.
Right, well, that's true. You're right.
You're
right. We should put Noel in there. Noel, again, another one, alpha manager, always had looking, but without any of this kind of guidance. You know what I mean? Ted Templeman, another one, totally in command when coming and doing those studio albums. Abso-fucking-lutely. Don Landy not there. With all of those Van Halen babysitters, you know, gone, what's going to happen? You know, what are you going to come home to? That's what you're going to come home to, Van Halen 3. So anyway, the Circle has been producing more of these lockdown sessions, which have just been incredible. It's number 6, number 7, number 8. Wow. So he comes out with number 6, which is For What It's Worth.
So
interesting, right? A Buffalo Springfield song. So I love the production value because as we're going on, the videos are getting even more intricate, which is kind of cool. There's a little intro there. Sammy's hair looks like he's thinning a little bit. Meanwhile, Mike is looking healthy and strong and fit. He looks thinner. His hair looks more flush. He looks like he's in great shape. Sam's incredible. He can sing anything. He's just unbelievable. The blending of Mike and Sam, I mean, what can you say? They're really a perfect match for each other. There's a really nice acoustic break that Vic does. He blends into everything. Vic's incredible. He really is a champion behind the scene for this band. And Jason makes everything funky and fun. He really does. It's just really cool. For what it's worth, they went into little Can't Always Get What You Want or Walk on the Wild Side. They put a little bit of that in there. It was really nice. I thought that was a great version. Then number 7, they do a little tribute to Little Richard, because Little Richard passed away. Keep a Knock in there on a Little Richard, and they had like a kind of a sepia tone look to it, and Vic is sort of the star of this one because they had a lot of hot licks on the guitar. Sammy's wearing his skull cap. Jason does his Zeppelin ending there, which created a lot of humor. Fantastic version. Then number 8, wow, Right Now. And this was really interesting. So they dusted off the Van Halen classic from 1991. But the interesting part was Vic kind of rearranged the song a little bit. No keyboards, all on guitar. Beautiful work by Vic. This was incredible. I give him so much props on this.
One step ahead, one step behind it. Now we gotta run to the river. Make future plans and dream about yesterday. Come on, turn this thing around. Hey, it's your tomorrow. Right now, come on. It's everything. Right now, take your magic moment. Do it right here now. It means everything.
The nice thing is that it's a real poignant message today, the Right Now song, and it had a lot of little different flavors in it. Of course, the same Sammy and Mike blend, which was fantastic. Sammy is always incredible, delivers every time. I mean, he really is money in the bank, that guy. What did you make of these lockdown sessions?
They are great. I'm always looking forward to the next one. Like you said, they're definitely putting some more effort into them visually, which is nice, and even musically. So, the sound quality is really good. It's not just 4 guys recording on iPhones. There's definitely some production put in there. Every few weeks, I definitely keep looking forward to the next one that's coming out. They keep getting better and better. And yes, kudos to Vic. Not the first time he has rearranged Right Now. He has a gift for that song. So I tell you, they're certainly not sitting on their butts all day doing nothing.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Interesting enough, Sam also came out and did some messages. Once he did one after all the different racial protests back and forth, and he got very serious for a moment, did a very serious message for supporting Black Lives Matter, and he said no hate, nothing but love. He also did like a, I don't know what you call it, Dave, like a little commencement for the class of 2020, right?
Yeah, he did a commencement speech.
Yeah,
Yep.
He did a commencement speech. I thought, he was very inspirational. I thought it was fun. But I
thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought he was right on the money.
He was right on the money. I thought this is what I thought he was going to say. You ready? This is exactly what I thought he was going to say. Hey, remember, I was the lead singer of Van Halen. You dig? In fact, I could sing better than David Lee Roth. Did I tell you all my albums went to number 1? It's time I was the guy who brought ballads to Van Halen. Now listen here. You don't know. I don't know if you're quite aware, but I know how to jam. I know how to play guitar. Dave can't do that. That's a gift. I can sing basically anything in the Van Halen catalog. But do you know I took over Van Halen. I ran the whole band. I didn't even have to play any of the old songs, man. I just played my own song. I implemented my own tunes in there. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, you know, when it comes to Van Halen, you gotta think Van Halen, you think Sammy Hagar. You know,
to his credit, he did not do any of that.
I know, but wouldn't it be funny if he did? It's always funny to me whenever I see an artist that is talking to a crowd who might not know who they are. Like, it's, you know, he's kind of like, I'm Sammy Hagar, I'm a musician. It's like, you know, it's so funny. The other thing I want to mention is the trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music came out. And we talked about this in a Van Halen news a while back. Originally, they were talking about having a cameo by Eddie Van Halen in the movie. Now, it could still be in there, but I don't think so. Just from the little taste of what I got, I don't foresee Ed being in that movie. And I did some sort of research on the net to see if there was any credit, but I don't know. Unless there's some sort of surprise, I think Eddie was having a rough time, you know, obviously physically at that time. So I don't know if he was in any shape to do a cameo, but we'll see. It opens on August 21st. Bill and Ted Face the Music. And speaking of Van Halen's, Wolf. Oh my God, Dave. Wolf tweets another clip from his album. And Wolf releases this mysterious clip from his solo album that is imaginary at this point. It's unbelievable. And here's a little clip of it right here. I don't know. Perhaps we can strip all these clips together and make a song. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe.
I swear to God. And, you know, then, Dave, this was interesting. So, you know how Wolf, sometimes, you know, he goes on social media and he can't help himself but answer questions, right?
Right.
So it's so funny because people could ask questions and he doesn't answer them. But then every once in a while, he'll answer them. So someone just said, hey, man, when is it coming out? And he said, I'm working on it. The state of the world has really thrown a wrench into how I saw this releasing, given that no touring is able to happen until all this blows over. But I have a few ideas that are pretty cool. Stay tuned. So now someone asked, who is in your band? Any guess? And he says, no guess on the record. It's 100% me. One guy said, how are your songs written? He said, it usually starts with a riff that inspires me to work on, and then I can see where it goes. I usually come up with the melodies before writing the lyrics. I usually come up with really cool stuff on the spot. And then he said that Eddie Van Halen is not involved. Interesting enough, huh? Thought that was kind of interesting. Now, also, his mother, Valerie Bertinelli, actress extraordinaire, she showed up in Good Housekeeping doing an interview, I guess, for her 60th birthday or something. And when they asked her about Wolf, she said, the older he gets, the more I know how to stay out of his business. I try not to dig too much and trust that he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I'm lucky that he does. But I can't help but lightly ask, so when's the album coming out? Just a few questions so he won't get annoyed. So what does that tell you, folks? Even his mother is getting impatient.
And doesn't know.
Well, look at that. So, on top of this, the top 25 rock albums with no weak songs came out. I think this was from Loudwire. And Van Halen 1 made the list. However, made the list at number 23. Which was a little upsetting for this guy right here.
Well, I'm happy they made the list.
Well, yeah.
So.
Well, I tell you, the list is a little weird because there's some albums on here. It's like the Deftones, White Pony, Deep Purple in rock, the Beatles. You put the Beatles on here and you put the Magical Mystery Tour? I mean, of all Beatles albums, how about Abbey Road? How about the White Album?
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
that's the one you pick?
Very strange. Very strange.
I know, I hear you. But hey...
Then there's stuff on here like you expect, like Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Led Zeppelin 4, Nevermind by Nirvana, 10 by Pearl Jam. Okay, these are all sort of expected. But there's some others like Rainbow Rising, Rush, Permanent Waves, Not Moving Pictures. That's kind of strange. And then they had Queens of the Stone Age, like Clockwork. I mean, there's some albums here I thought like the Cars debut album, maybe Aerosmith Toys in the Attic, Boston